everybody. You've reached another edition of the NRW Checkpoint with your host, WebsterStyle, and of course, Brian Sapph. Brian, how you doing today, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. We have an eclectic mix of prominent new releases this week. Let's start off with one that is very appropriate for everything that's going on with the World Cup and everything over in Qatar or Qatar. I forget how you pronounce it correctly. But in this case, it's Soccer Story. Soccer Story is dropping for the PS4, 5, Xbox One, SX, Switch, and PC, and is dropping day one on Game Pass. It's an RPG, and in Soccer Story, it's a comedic open world RPG about solving puzzles and saving the world with your trusty magic soccer ball. Of course, it's magic, right?
Right.
The game asks you to use your head with goal-oriented quests, goal-oriented, funny,
Right.
and side missions to complete over 15 plus hours of gameplay and a huge range of activities and events to take part in. So that one, we are not watching the trailer for that one, but it is very much a 2D RPG sort of art style. It looks fun. If you have Game Pass, check it out. I'm not sure of the pricing, but considering 15 plus hours 2D RPG, I'm pretty sure it's not going to run you any more than 20 and 25 bucks. So again, it's not anything that's going to break your bank if you want to try it out either. And I'm pretty sure there's a demo floating around there as well, especially if you're on PC on Steam. They're usually pretty good about that one. But just from looking at some of the previews of it, it looks fun and interesting. Again, it's World Cup time. I'm not a football fan or a soccer fan, but all these people around me become football fans during the World Cup. I was like, okay, so this is an appropriate game to play if you are a football or soccer fan, and like RPGs at that.
There you go. Yeah, I feel this is definitely an interesting take on soccer. Normally, it's FIFA and that's it.
Right.
And good. So I'm glad they coming with something different. I'm like you. I'm not necessarily like a big soccer or football fan. We have a team here, but I don't get to go to the games as often as I would like. But I mean, I definitely can understand the excitement around World Cup. It's your country competing against other countries. Same thing with the Olympics. But this definitely a great game for this time of year.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is The Night Witch, and it's dropping on PS4, 5, Xbox One SX, Switch, and PC. It's an action game, so it's a Metroidvania adventure game with fast-paced shoot-'em-up combat set in a beautifully hand-drawn world. Cast devastating card-based spells, forge close bonds, and make moral choices, all in your quest to save your home and discover who's behind the War Golem invasion. So we are watching trailer for that, but that's another Metroidvania. So, there are a lot of good Metroidvanias out there. So it's a very high bar. So I'm interested to see how this one really matches up to a lot of the other games out there that are in this category.
Yeah, definitely when the trailer.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, we have Front Mission First Remake, and this is a remake of the classic Front Mission video game. It's an RPG strategy game. It takes place in 2090 on Huffman Island, where conflicts are fought with powerful mechs known as Wanzers. A reconnaissance platoon led by Captain Roy Clive is ambushed by Wanzers, leading to an all-out war, while Royd's fiancée, Lieutenant Karen Muir, goes missing in action. And we are not watching the trailer for that one, but I was not familiar with Front Mission until I think Nintendo announced the remake. I don't know, one of their directs a couple of months ago. I'm like, it looks interesting. Kind of like a 2.5D sort of design for the mechs. It looks cool, but there's not anything that interests me. And it's Switch exclusive. So, if you want to play it, you gotta go on the Switch. But it's one of those games that a lot of people hold in high regard as far as the series. So, and I think this one, and then they're remaking the third game. I think that this will be one of these games is like the first time it's come over to the West officially, if I remember correctly. So that's a big deal there. Next up, this is more of an honorable mention because we talked about this a couple months ago when it dropped on PC, but it is Gundam Evolution. It's their free-to-play FPS. It's finally dropping on console, so PS4, 5, Xbox One, S, X, and you can get your free-to-play Gundam on if you want to.
Yeah.
For your PC brethren.
I
Like I said, it's
Gundam,
not too.
so
Yeah, exactly. If you like Gundam, check it out. It's free.
it's free.
Why not check it out?
Yeah, I mean it's a first person shooter. Those are
Right.
popular these days. Play some
Yes.
Gundam. I'm down.
Right. Exactly. Next up, we have a game based on a popular series. It seems like there are games in this series every year. Warhammer 40,000, Darktide, and this has come out on PC and dropping on Game Pass day one. An action game is a first-person player PvE hack and slash shooter. The horde-based combat and objectives and melee and gunplay all echo the legacy of Left 4 Dead. I'm interested just from Left 4 Dead.
Right.
All the tutorial after tutorial level, the main gameplay loop starts with your matchmaking into missions from the Morning Stars hub world. So hack and slash PvE. It sounds interesting. We're not watching trailer, but I will definitely check out a trailer on my own and check this out. And who knows if it's cloud play streaming on my really crappy PC to see what it's like.
Is it only for PC?
Yes, it's only dropping on PC.
Okay.
So
we'll see. Warhammer. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's they talk about games in that series every year. And I never got into the actual game with the figures and all of that. So I'm familiar, but I'm not that familiar with the series. But the fact that it's continued, it always seemed kind of niche. And the fact that it continues to be as popular as it has and continue to be a profitable series of video games as well. Right. That's really amazing to me because, again, I have the things I like, you have the things that you like, and there are things outside that we don't realize how big they are. And this is just one of those things that I never really realized how big it is.
Yeah, a lot of games have cult followings, and you just don't know until you run into people who enjoy it, or something like this happens where they put a new one out and it's making news.
Right. Right. Now, our next up is another licensed property, and it's a property that I feel like outside of the Telltale games has never gotten a good video game. And in this case, this is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. This is a VR game, so it's on the Quest and the PlayStation VR. Actually, again, PlayStation VR, not VR 2.
Right.
Right. So it's a virtual reality first-person shooter survival game that takes place after the events of the first game. The sequel continues the journey of the protagonist known only as the tourist, who must wade through the walker-infested French Quarter of New Orleans in search of escape while avoiding the Axeman of New Orleans. Now, mind you, I hear zombies in New Orleans, I just think of Left 4 Dead 2. There's no other zombie game in New Orleans but that one. But it sounds interesting. We are watching the trailer for this one, so I'm interested to see what it really looks like. I'm not a big VR guy.
Me either.
Personally speaking, and I don't know. We'll see. I'm not. There is something about The Walking Dead. Again, outside of I think the Travelers or the Travelers Telltale games, their writing was just so on point. And really, The Walking Dead, even the TV show, when it was good, it was about the drama. It was about the story. It was about the tension. It wasn't about killing zombies or walkers.
No, never been about that, really.
And outside of the Telltale series, that is something that every other Walking Dead game has failed at miserably. And when you reduce this down to just a first-person shooter survival horror game, you miss. Yeah, exactly. It's every other zombie game that has come before it. It's like you just paid the money and slapped the lights on to get more money. So, but we'll see what it's like. But Brian and I are very much of like minds when it comes to properties like this. It's just they haven't translated well to video games except for one company who got greedy and went out of business. But It
Yeah,
is what it is.
it is.
All right. It's surprising. We have a lot of heavy hitters this week. The
Really?
next one is another licensed property, one that I was very high on at first, but for some
Oh yes.
reason, my excitement kind of waned. I don't
Because
know.
of it's the rollout, but we'll
Yeah,
talk about it.
maybe. And next up is Marvel's Midnight Suns for the right now, just still would say current gen systems, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series systems. So it's in strategy RPG.
Mhm.
So it's a tactical role playing game developed by Fibraxis in collaboration with Marvel Games. So Fibraxis 2K Games, they did all of the XCOM games back in the day.
Mhm.
It will feature combat characters from multiple Marvel properties, so such as Midnight Suns, Avengers, X-Men, Runaways, a whole bunch of people up in there. So
Yeah.
you play, you're able to create your own character named the Hunter with a choice of 40 different powers. So it's a strategy RPG and there's a card-based battle system. I
Mhm.
think part of, for me, that was kind of like, I don't know, because I don't have much experience with card-based battle systems.
Uh,
And when I have played games like that, they haven't exactly been that fun, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about this game since it's come out this week.
yeah. I'm Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's one that I've been anticipating specifically because it is a departure from the Marvel games that we're like used
Hmm.
to, like the Avengers game, which has its own flaws or whatever. That's more
Hmm.
of a a team up kind of co-op
Right,
RPG kind of situation. This game is unique in the fact that the world the game is kind of built like how Fire Emblem is, where it's like very tactical.
right,
You move characters based on that, but then they all use like these cards that represent their different abilities and things like that. And then based on how you play those cards, the environment interacts with that. You can do extra things. Like I looked at some of the deep dives for it because they've been
hmm,
ramping up the rollout for it, because it comes out this week. And they've been really explaining like everything. I'm even more
right,
interested. I really want to play this game just to like get into it. But it's one of them games where if you're not like really into strategy games or whatever, it might not be for you. Because you hear Marvel and you're like, oh, hack and slash, beat 'em up, RPG,
right,
and it's not that. It's very much you have to understand the characters you're using, understand the abilities you chose for your particular character, and move through the world, based on how that
right,
works out for you.
right. It sounds interesting. It's definitely a game I want to try first
Mm-hmm.
before purchasing. But
Yeah.
I've seen, and you're right, they've done a really good job, especially over the past 2 3 months, with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of developer stuff, a lot of gameplay footage. Like we're talking about not 5 minutes, we're talking about 20, 30 minutes to an hour of
Yeah.
just footage and mechanics and everything. So they've done a very good job of, at least via the YouTubes,
Yeah.
educating gamers what the game is really like. So I'm interested. I'm not excited like it was before. And I think it getting delayed just kind of deflated some of my excitement as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that I don't want a current gen system, so I'm not playing this anytime soon. Since the
Uh,
PS4 and Xbox One versions were delayed,
mm-hmm.
maybe indefinitely, who knows? But or I just cross my fingers, wait for it to come to Game Pass in about 6 months, and it'd be cloud play, so I'll be good to go
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I'm excited
way.
for it, but I'm still working.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get there, so we'll see.
right,
But yeah,
exactly. The backlog is real.
yes, it is.
It's very
Very.
real.
And I just bought new games for Black Friday.
Oh,
I'm smart, but yeah,
yeah. There was nothing to interest me Black Friday when those deals. I'm like, yeah, no, don't care. I still got
yeah.
too many games I got to play anyway, so I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
good.
the PlayStation Store was loaded. They talking about 75% off on some of this stuff. I was like, I have to. There's new games on there and everything.
Xbox is the same way, but I tend to go for older stuff, and a lot of
Mm.
the older stuff I bought already. Last time they had sales, they
I
have
feel
sales all the time. They just don't tell you
yeah.
about it. We kind of like search through the store. So yeah, I was like, oh, I bought this one already. Oh, I bought this. Like literally half the stuff that I would buy, owned. Oh my,
Yeah.
okay, I own it already. All right, but let's get to another. Oh man, this is a long standing property
Yeah.
when it comes to video gaming, racing gaming, and that's Need for Speed Unbound. This is new Need for Speed series. It's on current gen systems, Xbox Series systems, PC, and PlayStation 5. I mean, it's a racing game. Come on now. If
Yeah.
you don't know what Need for Speed is by now, you're watching the wrong YouTube channel, like straight up.
Right.
So this racing game is set in the fictional city of Lakeshore City,
Mhm.
which is based on Chicago, which makes sense. Lakeshore, Chicago. Okay.
Mhm.
Like previous entries in the series, it will feature an open world environment and will feature gameplay similar to that of previous entries in the series, mainly focusing around street racing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is my okay, not my issue with Need for Speed, but this is my biggest problem with EA
Mhm.
is that once they bought Bazaar, was it Bazaar
Yes.
Creations? I'm forgetting the name, but the people who originally made Burnout, once they bought them and Burnout became an EA property, I felt like there was so many aspects of Burnout outside of the crashes
Mhm.
that ended up going to some Need for Speed at that point in time. I felt like Need for Speed lost its identity when EA bought the Critteron,
Is it?
or whatever. I, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I feel like they Need for Speed lost some of their identity as a game, as a series, when it happened so many years ago. And even though we haven't had a proper Burnout game, except for that remaster, which is really, really fun and really great, a couple years ago, I I don't know. I never was a big Need for Speed guy in the first place,
Mhm.
but it's just something about the way that the series has evolved. And again, maybe it's because you know, we don't care about street racing games anymore. Maybe our tastes as gamers have changed, but it just feels
Mhm.
like something's been missing from the series for a while. And I hope that this game is kind of brings back that old school feel of Need for Speed. Uh, that I don't know, maybe I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like the series has been missing for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be like really into Need for Speed. I like when they do more of the actual like street racing games like
Hmm.
Need for Speed, Underground and stuff like that. Like
Right,
when they take it to the actual streets and they let you, mod your cars in certain ways, you have day and night in the game and it's about the underground racing scene. Those tend to be fun, but like they transitioned away from that some time ago and you got Need for Speed Heat and all these other games or whatever. I don't know.
right,
Something like Midnight Club. I remember Midnight Club, fantastic racing game. It's just something
right,
about because I'm not into Formula One racing games,
right. Same.
but when they do games where it's like, oh, this is underground racing and you can get a Ferrari and soup it up, put rims on it and all kind of like racing around the city, like those kind of games interest me as far as racing is concerned. So I feel like Need for Speed has lost touch with the
Yeah,
underground aspect and they're trying to focus more on being more of like, okay, these are nice cars and you race them on. I don't know. It's not edgy like it used to be. So
yeah.
the fun's
I
missing.
agree. I agree. I agree. And I think I said Bizarre Creations. They did the Project Gotham Racing on Xbox, and then Metropolitan
Mm,
Street Racing before that on the Dreamcast. They went out of business,
mm,
but I was thinking about them because thinking about street racing. That was just an excellent sort of street racing game, much like you were just bringing up, and those are aspects that Need for Speed has certainly lost. So let us hope that Need for Speed Unbound really brings some of that old magic back because it's
yeah,
possible. This is gaming. Anything's possible, but I
definitely.
guess we'll see. And last but not least is probably the most buzzed about game on this list that I from the past few months, at least
I've been seeing
from
it
being
too.
on the tube review over the past few months and just seeing all of the well, pseudo controversy. But outside of that, people talking about it, people getting excited about it, and that is the Callisto Protocol, and it's out on PS4, 5, Xbox One S, X, and PC. It's an action game, but it's a survival horror game developed by Striking Distance Studio and published by Crafton. It's directed by Glenn Schofield, who previously co-created the Dead Space series. So that was one of the big things after, and I forget the studio name, but after EA shut them down a couple of years ago, which makes no sense since they ended up remastering or remaking the original Dead Space. Okay, go figure. But anywho, they're in the process of remaking the original Dead Space, but they shut down that studio a couple years ago, and so the co-creative series is like, I can do this, and I can do something not better. I can do something different, and that's still the same vein. So survival horror is not my type of games to play, but I will watch somebody play through them in a heartbeat because that genre of game is just fun to watch a playthrough from me. Not saying I don't have the nerves. I think sometimes with survival horror, because I've tried playing the original Resident Evil, the remake, they get boring to me.
Yeah, because I mean it's repetitive.
Yeah, it's repetitive. And that gameplay is not something. Not saying it couldn't be fun. It's just not for me. I'll just put it that way. I've tried many times, and the genre is just not something I've been able to get into like that. But watching it, it's literally like somebody playing through a horror movie, and it's absolutely great. So I'll watch it all day. So this is a game I will definitely be watching, and we watch the trailer. Actually, we're watching the trailer right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Life sign detected.
Grab him. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh.
Say I don't need anyone.
What the hell?
But I do.
There was an outbreak.
Why is it
They killed everyone.
misery
Trying to contain it.
that I choose?
Everyone.
All of my nightmares are coming true.
You do what you gotta do in here. This place, there's a way of changing you.
I'll close my eyes, 'cause the world outside.
What the hell? Some bad stuff happened here.
No!
I know who you are. I know what you did. This whole prison's infected.
Can't keep running from what you've done.
Now let's go finish this.
I'll say this. I'm impressed with the motion capture.
I mean, because it looks great.
I mean, that's Josh Duhamel, like straight up. There is no question about what actor is playing that lead role in this game.
Right.
And I don't know the actress, but shoot, I'm pretty sure if I knew what she looked like in real life, you're like, oh, that's her. And if you didn't tell me that this was from one of the co-creators of Dead Space, I could probably guess that it was from somebody who was involved with, or Dead Space was an inspiration. And that's not a knock, but I see those themes of isolation that you got with Dead Space, the body horror, even though it's not the necromorphs, you see that body horror and body distortion and transfiguration in this game, much like Dead Space. It's very much close because now I haven't played a lot of Dead Space, but I played through some of Dead Space. I think it's 3. Just after 15, 20 minutes of playing it first, I'm like, I understood why people love that game. Like
Right.
like the tight spaces, the like that looks like if you're into survival horror games, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, on the trailer, I mean, obviously it's supposed to be, introducing to the game. It's very cinematic, and I really appreciate that because I could tell, like, even though some of the trailer is obviously cutscenes, like some of that was like actual gameplay, and that looks really good. It looks like really, really good. I mean, I could be honest. I'm probably not gonna buy this, at least not anytime soon. But if there's ever a opportunity where PlayStation's like, hey, we're gonna make this free for the month, they do the PlayStation Plus stuff. I would definitely download that just because the game itself, based on the trailer in a way, it's enticing. It makes me want to play.
Yes.
I want to understand what's going on. And I mean, I'm not necessarily into the horror survival genre either. I'm like really forcing myself to try to play The Last of Us before the HBO series comes out. But I do enjoy a good story. And if it has it, that's what it looks like it does. Now, it looks like it has a good story, and I'm down to play. So we'll see. That trailer looks really, really good, though.
It does. Next up, we have Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Here. Missions or whatever, that kind of determines, like, I don't know, how your character operates. So there's some synergies that happens there.
Right. That trailer, that gameplay footage has got me excited again. One thing I love about this game, outside of the fact that it just looks great, I love the liberties that they were able to take with the design of the characters based on the story. I really love the sleek, dark look that all the characters take, but again, obviously, as part of the story, it's the Midnight Suns.
Right.
I love the fact that as the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, just him coming up with that car is just
so cool, right?
Yes. And again, I am as a comic head, I grew up reading Danny Keach, Ghost Rider.
Okay.
So like that's always, I wouldn't say my favorite Ghost Rider, but like that's what introduced me to the character. Then I learned about Johnny Blaze and they brought Vengeance in there. And Robbie Reyes, when they brought him out, I think I got the first issue downstairs. Like just so cool. And then it was made even cooler from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like that was like the best part of that show when they brought him in there, in my opinion, that whole storyline. But just the fact that that character's there and he's just so fucking cool. And with everything else and the assortment of characters they have as well, I'm excited. I hope this game does well.
Me too.
It seems like going back to like say Guardians of the Galaxy, you have Marvel games that are done well, but don't do well. Guardians did well, but not as well as they wanted it to.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I feel like we just had a little bit of marketing issues there because that game was really great. I bought it, I played it. think I'm like 1 or 2 missions away from completing it. I don't know. I don't remember why I stopped playing, but it wasn't because the game was bad. I think I just bought a new game and
Right.
got caught up. Either way, great game. The story is amazing, but when it comes to Marvel's Midnight Suns, like I agree with you. I like the design that they did with everything. The game looks great, and I even appreciate that they decided to, just delay things a little bit and work it out.
Yes.
Because Fraxis is the design.
Yeah, for Braxis, yeah.
So this is like their niche here. These
Right.
tactical like turn-based games. I think Fraxis, they also do Civilization, if I'm not mistaken.
For Braxis, I think so. Yes, I believe they do the Civilization games.
I think they also, yeah. Either way, like I'm glad that they say, you know what, this game's not ready. Let's just wait a little bit, because that's with that being a turn-based game, like it's gonna it needs to be perfect.
Right.
There's not much you can do as far as let's patch this and add this. Like it needs to come out the box like ready to go. So
right.
It looks great.
Considering considering you in many respects are catering to it may be a large audience, but still a niche audience within the video game community, you got to make sure that it's right when it comes out. Like seriously, because if you burn your core audience out the gate, they ain't no coming back. Especially in a game like this. This isn't Cyberpunk or some other game or Pokemon, where you have such a large install base with so many people buy it, where you can still be viable and just continue to patch the game 2 years later. It actually works. For Braxis is only going to get one shot at this with the type of game that it is.
Right.
Even with the license.
Right. And CD Red, they know about that with this name, Cyberpunk, whatever.
Well, hell, even going back to the Avengers game, the same way.
Yeah.
So many people bought it. It was, so wide known now. It's on Game Pass. I think it's on PlayStation Plus as well. Mm-hmm. You have so many people playing it now. They can go back and fix it. They can go back and add things, because you have so many people constantly playing because of the type of game it is, and allows the general casual user to come in. A game like this, you're not getting the general casual for the most part.
Right.
You're not getting the general casual user to come in. So you got to make sure it's perfect when it comes out. So I agree with you. I appreciate putting that extra time to make sure it's right when it comes out.
Right. You talking about a card-based strategy game,
right?
That's definitely a niche audience.
Yeah, you lost like 75% of the gaming world. Just RPG strategy, card-based RPG strategy. Oh, yeah. What you talking about?
Right, too much.
What? Okay, exactly.
But I'm excited. It looks good. I like.
Yeah, it does.
Selection, so we're good.
Yeah, it does. It does. So next up, we have our Metroidvania of the list, The Witch Knight. Excuse me, The Night Witch.
Peggy 7.
I feel like this is hand-drawn. This looks nice.
This on Switch, right?
Yes.
I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Looks hand-drawn, and it does look like your typical Metroidvania. Look like your little, bullet shooter hell going up in there too. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It does.
And it's on everything.
I'm gonna check that out, because I like games like that.
That looks cool. That looks real cool. And next up, let's get immersed in the world of the Walkers with The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution.
I'm interested to see what it's like. This is VR.
Well, look at you, tourist. If I'd have known you were gonna cause this much trouble. But what's done, it cannot be undone.
Mama's desperate. With the scale of what she's planning, no one will be spared.
Good and evil no longer exist. There is only survival.
Guess you ain't the only one who thrives on creating havoc.
Garrick's a psycho. That bomb suit he wears, I've seen bullets just bounce right off it.
Payback is an honest-to-God force of nature.
Perhaps you have heard the stories about me. That I am mad. That I devour human flesh. Death draws near, tourist!
Everyone who trusts you winds up dead!
Welcome to the revolution, tourist.
People like us, you must make the difficult decisions.
Interesting weapons.
Are you sure you want to get caught in the middle of that mess, tourist? Wherever the tourist goes, death ain't far behind.
I mean, yeah, the zombies, they follow everybody. So
Why were they running?
cool. The zombies?
The zombies. Yeah.
I guess
Zombies
they
don't
get
run
that
in The
ability.
Walking Dead.
It says new enemies. You seen it? New enemies. They can run now.
Okay. There's nothing about that I found remotely exciting, unfortunately. It looks so generic.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's licensing thing. They sliped the title on there. They said,
Yeah.
hey, this would be a great VR game. Now, I will say, just based on what I saw in the trailer, it does look like a fun VR experience. It does look like
Right.
if I had a headset on and two of those controllers in my hand, I would, enjoy trying to figure my way out through these zombies. But like, what else is there with the story that's supposed to like endear me to it? I heard the girl talking about something in the background, but I was just
Right.
everything I saw was me fighting zombies.
I hear it too. I'm not saying that you're not absolutely correct. It seems like a fun VR experience. But it just seems like it's one of those times where they just slapped a license on a generic game to get the attention of people. But this is my question, though. VR is so niche.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really need to slap a Walking Dead license on a random VR zombie shooter
Well, when you think
to
about
get an audience?
When you think about the Walking Dead fan base, I could see why they would make that kind of play. Because if it was just a generic zombie game, I don't think people would be like remotely interested because it's just a generic zombie game. You put the Walking Dead title on there, and at least you could pull in that fan base that the Walking Dead has.
I got you, but again, VR is so niche. I feel, and it's just me. I feel like because it's so niche, someone who's in the VR, they're looking right. They will play it regardless. I don't think you slap that title on there, you're bringing anybody new into VR.
Yeah,
like that's not the job it's going to do.
If that is the goal, then why not move it to VR 2? Because that's what we're transitioning to now.
Well, that would make sense because it's a smaller user base. You already built up a user base with Quest and PlayStation VR. Moving to VR 2, at least right now, since it's not even out yet, it's not going to make any sense. They're trying to make that Christmas money.
That makes sense.
So,
well, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not a VR person. We
right.
can just start right there. I'm not
Same.
really into VR. I still, I mean, I understand the appeal of it because if you think about it, if the Nintendo Wii had like a headset you could put on, it's VR, and that would be fun now because
Well,
Wii bowling, that was enjoyable. Playing Wii tennis with the headset, I feel like that would be a good time.
well, it kind of did.
Because Beat
Labo.
Saber on the VR is very popular. People love that game.
It did the Labo. You create your own VR headset with the Nintendo.
You're right.
So.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not necessarily. It's not my thing. And then I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they slapped the licensing title on there just to try to pull in a few extra people. Because he did the same thing. Like I played. One of my friends has the VR, and I played the Creed boxing game.
Yeah,
it's a boxing game, but because Creed was on the title, I was like, oh, it's a little bit extra more fun. And then I'm looking at the hands, it's black hands. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it, but it's like at the end of the day, it was just a regular.
Could have been anybody, anything, but it was a boxing game. And that is exactly what I'm saying. This could be anything, and people would still play it in this genre, in this niche set of video games. Because let's be real, how many zombie shooters are there really for VR?
I mean,
are there a lot?
No.
What's your competition?
And the only competition, well, you talking about in the VR space or just in general?
Yeah, in the VR space. VR space. I'm going to talk about VR. I see VR as a totally separate animal than every other aspect of video gaming.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's so niche.
Yeah, you got zombies on Call of Duty, and then what? Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, I think, has a zombie game as well. Or no?
Is it in VR though?
No, it's not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they could have just made it. And you know what? That probably would have been a better move because we know Walking Dead to be so drama filled and so much about the story. Like, I could see maybe this being fun if there's a moment where you can like co-op with somebody else, because then at least it's two people,
right?
Kind of have like okay, well, if I make this move, it's something there. I don't know. I think this Walking Dead is so rich in story that it needs to be an RPG, just straight out the box. Like
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like if they decided to try to do the Walking Dead but make it like The Last of Us, I'm pretty sure it will be a hit. Because The Last of Us, I mean,
right.
I haven't even played it, and I know it's an amazing game.
Right. So, that's actually a good idea. Actually,
I mean,
nobody's done that. Everybody's always done like a first-person shooter.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, The Last of Us is third person, and it's not all about killing the zombies. There's actually like you have to have dialogue with the other characters and like brainstorm things in order to make like the characters. They like real human beings. They don't know how to fight zombies. They learning this shit on the go, and then at some point, the zombies walk in and you use whatever you have.
I agree. I agree with you totally. Well, that's it for our games this week, Brian. Where can I find you? Or what do you have coming up this week?
So, the Talk+Play. Oh man, this is the podcast that I have where I talk about trending topics on the internet, video games, music, and television. I just put out an episode maybe 2 or 3 days ago that's available, only built for Turkey Links. So we're talking a little Thanksgiving and some music and stuff in there. And I don't know, I'm writing out the next episode, so we'll see what happens, but that's what's currently going on.
Got you.
Thanksgiving recap, and a bunch of music is out. My opinions on a bunch of TV shows that have come to an end, like Atlanta. I'm gonna miss it dearly. Abbott is still hilarious. Like I'm talking my regular stuff over here on the Talk+Play blerdcast. That's it for this week.
Got you. Well, unfortunately, I'm still behind. I haven't published anything. I am like editing, and
listen,
it'll come out when it comes out.
Yeah,
it's been like a month. It'll come out when it comes out. You never know when it comes out. I might drop like 2-3 podcasts on y'all. You never see it coming.
I understand completely. It's a chore to keep up with those things,
Yeah,
but I enjoy
it is.
So.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But you are obviously nerds rule the world. Make sure you check us out and follow us on Twitter at the NRW, on Instagram at New Release Wednesday. And of course, you're currently on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Because zombies, or no, it's Christmas time. Because Mariah Carey is out here. I don't know.
Zombie Mariah Carey.
Right.